Hello everyone, welcome back to PM Academy. Today's topic is Globalization, Role of USA. Dear students, the word globalization is not a 21st century phenomenon. It was realized immediately after the Second World War. All of you know that Second World War created a havoc in the world. That was a human disaster, you can say. Second World War means it continued for the long 6 years. Many of the people lost their lives, many soldiers were killed, many of the people were injured and also handicapped. If you want to know the figure, you will be surprised that actually, dear students, 12 million soldiers were killed, 25 million civilians also killed in that war, and 24 million people became injured or became handicapped. When all these things happened during the Second World War, immediately after the end of the Second World War, all the lead countries of the world they realized that actually. So due to the lack of international mechanism, so all these things happened, and they also realized that though there was a League of Nations before the World War II, but it was a powerless. Even the USA was not its the member. Even the lead countries at that time like the Japan, German, and Italy, they left the League of Nations in the between. As the League of Nations was not like the United Nations today, it was a powerless. It could not take any actions to control the escalation of the Second World War. That's why such type of the human disaster happened in the world, and all the lead countries immediately after the world realized to do something for betterment of the society, for the peace, prosperity of the society. At the same time, there must be international mechanism to control or to prevent the world from the Third World War or the greatest human disaster in the future. In this context, but unfortunately, what happens immediately after the Second World War, the world got divided into the two power blocks. One led by the USA, it is known as the Capitalism Block, and the second was led by the Soviet Union, it was the Communism Block. And due to the division of the world into the two blocks, the Cold War started. So though the Cold War was there, America realized that so it is not possible taking into account or taking into confidence of all the countries. So from his own side, he was the first country in the world. He declared himself as the unilateral form of the liberalization. Means America took herself initiative to liberalize her market, and that became the eye opener for the whole world. And when America did the liberalization for her own country, and at the same time being a powerful country, being a world leader at that time, and played a vital role in the Second World War, he helped and he wanted to build a global new economic order which can work for the betterment of the society. Then when the USA thought about the new global economic order, it means actually it was realized that it means the peace and prosperity, better understanding among the nations, mutual trust to the each other. There must be international law to regulate the trade and commerce. There must be international mechanism or international organizations to regulate the whole world, to regulate the business. If any of the conflict arises, it can also prevent for escalations. So in this way, the United Nations through liberalization play very the vital role for the better world. Means mutual trust to the each other, mutual understanding, mutual better cooperations, and at the end, its objective was to do trade and commerce globally, not to be confined between the two countries or to two or the three countries or to the specific regions, to globally to do the trade and commerce for the betterment of all the people and for the prosperity of all the nations. Then what happens when all these things was realized by the United States of America? What he did, and he realized immediately that there must be a rule of law globally. That means a rule of law should be framed which should be accepted all the countries of the world, because there must be international organization, there must be a mechanism, there must be law which can prevent the countries, if any conflict arises, to escalate into a larger conflict, just like the Second World War or just like a First World War. In this way, the USA play very the vital role for the globalization, and through which or for that purpose the international mechanism were the set up. One best example is that is IMF, or the International Monetary Fund, so which was created in the 1944 and by the initiative of the United States of America. Now today's total members are the 190. Its the immediate purpose was to stabilize the world economy for the betterment of the peace and prosperity of the whole countries, and to helping or to provide assistance to the countries who are the debt ridden or that been facing the problems in the balance of payments and to overcome the debt crisis. In this way, International Monetary Fund played a very the vital role at that time, and it was started by the initiative of the United States of America immediately after the Second World War, or just in the 1944. Now its headquarter, today's headquarter is the Washington DC. IMF headquarter is the Washington DC. Then second international organization was created by the initiative of the United States, that is United Nations Organization, UNO. And this the UNO, whose headquarters is the New York. It was set up in the 1945 by the most initiative of the utmost initiative of the United States of America. Its objective was that it will not function like the League of Nations. It will, more power was given, and its objective was to prevent the world from the escalation of the Third World War in the future. And utmost importance was in the United Nations to prevent the world from the war or for the international conflict, and it will pave the way for the peace and prosperity, trade and the commerce. In this way, United Nations, dear students, play very the vital role. And if you see today, actual total 193 members are there in the United Nations. Is headquarters now is in the New York. Then immediately thereafter, World Bank was created by the initiative of the United States of America. When the World Bank was created, it was in the 1945. And now the total members in the World Bank, it is around 180. And its purpose was, World Bank purpose was the different. When the Second World War came to an end, its purpose was to reconstruct the European economy. But immediately when its purpose was served, that means when the assistance was provided to European countries, side by side, its purpose was widened, and all the developing and developed countries, all the developing and the least developed countries, assistance were provided by the World Bank. Now the World Bank is giving lot of assistance to the developing and the least developed countries, and also providing the advice for the development, for the trade and commerce purpose for the time to time. Besides all these three things, one major thing was created by the initiative of the United States of America, that was the WTO, or the World Trade Organization. And before the World Trade Organization came into being in the 1995, it was the GATT, General Agreement on Tariffs and the Trade, which was set up in the 1948, whose headquarters in the Geneva in the Switzerland. And now the total 164 members are there in the WTO. But this the GATT, which started in the 1948, it continued till the 1995, and GATT was replaced by the WTO, or World Trade Organization. World Trade Organization. So World Trade Organization now has the 164 members. Also, it's the lead partner, or its initiative was taken by the United States of America. If I want to tell you, dear students, so far the WTO is concerned, United States played with the vital role. That's why the globalization became the possible due to the creation of the World Trade Organization. So I want to tell you that actually by this WTO, United States has made the 14 FTA, means foreign trade agreements with 20 countries. These 20 countries are Australia, Canada, Mexico, Bahrain, Oman, Colombia, Chile, Costa Rica, Jordan, Morocco, Singapore, Korea, Guatemala, Israel, Honduras, Dominican Republic, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Peru, and Panama. In these 20 countries, he has made the FTA, means actual foreign trade agreements. Besides actual, the America has established the trade relations, are doing the export and import business with around the 200 countries in the world, and it has become possible due to the WTO. Now what happens, dear students, this the WTO has helped a lot, because by the USA initiative it has become possible, and also USA has become the larger beneficiary of the globalizations. Now due to all these organizations, especially the WTO, the globalization has become possible. All these happen due to the help, assistance or the contributions of the United States of America. If you see, due to the globalization, USA is the largest trading nations in the world with $5.6 trillion in the 2019. Because I am just giving this the example before pandemic, because I don't want to give example of the pandemic, because economic imbalance was there almost all parts of the world. So 2019 actually it was $5.6 trillion trade through due to the globalization in the USA. And the USA now has a trade relation more than 200 countries. Now imagine, is the second largest goods exporter in the world. In this way, the United States of America has got the larger benefits of the globalization. Also, credit goes to the United States that actually he played very the vital role for the globalization, or to today's world, or today's globalized world, through which the trade and commerce has become possible. Before concluding my lecture, dear students, my request to you to like my lecture and to subscribe if you are the first viewer. Please press the bell icon, if bell icon, to get the first notification. This is for today. Thank you very much, dear students.